Hello, everybody. I'm Patrick. I'm a member of the community team at Artbox, and welcome to Art of Algorithms. This is a series where we delve into creative minds behind the groundbreaking digital art projects. Each episode features insightful conversations with renowned artists and key figures in the generative art community. And today we are joined by Emi Kusano and Sputniko to talk about the next project released in the Artbox curated collection, Emi Kusano's Melancholic Magical Maiden, which will go live Wednesday, February 28th on artbox.io. Emi Kusano is a Tokyo-based multidisciplinary artist who employs AI to merge past and future aesthetics, challenging our perceptions of art and technology. And Sputniko is a multimedia artist and filmmaker, creating works from the themes of technology, gender, and feminism, and the artist behind Lucky Clover, a project on the Artbox platform. Emi and Sputniko, welcome.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to take a back seat and let y'all chat. Take it away.
Great. So thank you for this opportunity, Emi. It's really great for me to be able to interview you about your new release. And so just and just a little. Oh, Emi, you're muted. So.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
All right. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, and just a quick intro about myself. I'm Sputniko. I'm based in Tokyo, and I know Emi, like we know each other for over 10 years now. Like I met you when you're first a student, and after that we've been teaching together in Tokyo University of Arts from like 2019. Like we're teaching like video, AI, NFTs, and it's been like a super long, like amazing journey to see you from a student to what you're doing now. So, and you're so multi-talented, and I'm going to read out your bio profile in the beginning. Is that okay for people who don't know Emi yet? Yeah,
that'll be helpful.
Yeah. Because you have a super long, complete. So Emi Kusano, born in Tokyo in 1990, began her artistic journey as a street photographer on the streets of Harajuku in her teens, leading to an exhibit at the V&A Museum. As a multidisciplinary artist, she explores the intersection of retrofuturism and modern technological acceleration. Her unique AI-infused art has graced the cover of WWD Japan, that's a fashion magazine, and been featured in Christie's and Gucci auctions. And internationally recognized, her work has been exhibited at venues such as the Saatchi Gallery and the 21st Century Museum of Contemporary Art, Kanazawa, and has been collected in more than a dozen countries around the world. In addition to her visual arts career, Emi is a lead singer and self-producer for Satellite Young, a band that creatively reinterprets 80s J-pop styles through a modern, technologically driven sci-fi lens. This innovative approach has garnered international recognition, including an appearance at South by Southwest, and extends their creativity to installations. So yeah, you have like a background as a musician, and you're teaching, and you're also showing. We just showed together in Kanazawa, the museum, recently as well. So, wow, like how has it been, like the whole journey? Like you're working a lot in AI, NFT, and now you're working in generative arts. Like what sparked your interest in the whole area of Web3, NFT, AIs?
Thank you so much. It's such a long bio. Sorry.
Yeah, it is a long bio. I read it.
Well, I've been fascinated by you since when I was a university student, and I'm so happy to be here. Whether I was like dressing up like an 80s idol and singing a song about artificial intelligence, that's how I started my creative journey. When I was 18, I met you, and you were a few steps.
You were so young then. Like, it's crazy, right?
I know. And at that time, like I was telling you that I want to be in like 1980s magical girl special effect tokusatsu. So I was kind of consulting by you, and I just started my creative, but I've been always doing same thing, like dressing up like 80s idol, or like recreating 90s anime with Shinsei Galverse. And also I'm now like representing the fictional street street fashion from 1940s to 2000s, and so it's been fortunate to consistently do the same thing across various media.
You're right, because you've been working in different genres, but ever since I met you, you always had a very consistent interest in really pop 80s, 90s, like retro pop culture, also like Japanese fashion, pop culture. But you were also like looking at these culture from your own unique lens, especially like critiquing sort of gender, feminism issues, societal pressure happening in Asian context. And it was really interesting to see, like everyone watching this, you should search her music videos. She's an amazing singer. She's an amazing performer. And amazing videos of her band, Satellite Young. So for me, watching you progress from like street fashion photographer to a musician to now you're making very like multidisciplinary, like AI, video, generative, different kinds of artwork. It's very, very it makes sense to me, the whole journey. Yeah.
Oh, so, thank you.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. And so if you could introduce the audience a little bit about your brand new work on Art Blocks. It's your first piece in generative art, right? So
yes.
Melancholic Magical Maiden. My background is one of your pieces. So if you could introduce a little bit about your new work, that'd be amazing.
Yes, the inspiration for Melancholic Magical Maiden actually started from the aesthetic of anime clips following through social media, complete with a subtitle. So I was really drawn for that. And hearing how people from all over the world watching Japanese anime with such a subtitle, so I found it incredibly cute. So initially I learned toward making a generative art more abstract without magical compact or robots. So this is basically already prototype of Melancholic Magical Maiden. And the very like first impulse was like I want to express something through like more pattern of the CRT TV. Then I got lots of advice from friends like Alexis André and Karate Kid encouraged me to push my own identity further. So I was so scared if my generative art doesn't look like anything, doesn't look like anything from art blocks. But I found my unique perspective would works better. So I try to just following passion. So
you're right, because when I saw the piece, the collection, it's very you, like Emi. It's very, very Emi. It's so unique to Art Blocks platform, I think. Like there are many amazing generative artworks, but like it's very like what you created just right, like for Magical Maiden, like Melancholic Magical Maiden. I'll call it MMM, but like for your new piece, MMM, new piece. It's very, I think it creates a very new perspective and very, also I was surprised, everything is completely coded, all the robots and the pretty eyes and the magical compacts, like it's not like externally dependent, like completely like coded and it has this very retro, I'm gonna duck down if you can see it has that retro subtitle 90s feel. So how was it, the challenge of making this generative work? Like how was it? Like
we edited more than 28 edition. So I first showed this work at Bright Moment in May. I first showed this work to art blocks curated team in May when Bright Moments Tokyo was happening, and after like a 28 revision and feedback from many people, I finally got to release. But it took about as long as, you know, birthing a baby. And
That's
yeah,
true. It's almost the same as like pregnancy lifetime.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the first thing I really amazed me was generative art was so depth and like decoding on the motif and where like introduce randomness require and lots of philosophical thinking. So I'm not coder, so I collaborated with creative coder Sayo, works on it, and it's fascinating to see how she could show my life's journey through each line of code. So we were constantly like encouraged by creation board to the push to the move variation. Like they consistently say like we need more variation, we need a variation. So we try to achieve that, and yeah, it was a really fun process. And one thing I surprised was the cost of gas fee. So
Yeah.
it looks like it might cost around 4 ETH to just uploading everything.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So like trying to all these complex action in the Ethereum costs lots of money. It's something I thought nobody else would do. So at that point, I realized my work might be quite rare.
Yes.
So I'm making, I'm kind of making big bet. So mushrooming, you will enjoy.
Yeah, it's definitely very unique aesthetic that adds to it. It's I'm so happy to see Emi shining through this new piece, because you know like generative art, there has been like a kind tendency to a certain aesthetic which is very like reminds you of very like code. It's like that texture, coded texture. But this is like really unique. Like you know your style and interest is really striking through. Yeah, it's amazing. So in the Melancholic Magical Maiden, you're reinterpreting 1990s anime culture. And in your work, how did you approach this? And what new interpretations did you aim to bring to the table in this work?
Yeah, that's a good question. As I'm growing up, like I was always wanting to be a magical girl. I was always fascinated by them, but like we can promise to change the world with a magical power and like my term. So this isn't just maybe Japanese phenomenon. It's kind of similar to.
Yeah, I was watching Sailor Moon too, so I completely feel it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to Disney princess or Barbie doll in the West. And looking back, like I see how these childhood influenced my enforced gender role and bias. I was empowered at the same time, so it has a kind of like duality. And for example, like I used to love the anime called Wedding Peach. So where the girls.
I remember Wedding Peach. Yeah, they're wearing wedding dresses and fighting enemies when wedding. That's so weird when you think about it. But yeah,
I know. So where the girls fight in a bridal dress, and also
that's so strange. But I used to like it too. Yeah,
you used to like it too.
I used to have a coloring book of the Wedding Peach.
Oh,
but when you think about it now, it's so weird that these girls are dressed in a wedding costume to fight enemies. Yeah,
I know. And Ojamajo Doremi, which includes narrative about like girls becoming like a pastry chef and like carrying babies. So like reflecting on this, I was wondering like if this story nudged me away from science and towards to early marriage and motherhood. So it's complicated feeling there has.
Right. That's true. Like, because I think I was born in 1985, so like kind of 5 years like earlier than you did, but like we probably share similar anime experiences growing up in Japan. I grew up in Japan too. And I remember like watching these animes. They are like super like idol heroines fighting enemies, but somehow dressed in a wedding dress, or somehow like sort of biased towards a certain gender role expected in Japanese society, which especially in the 80s and 90s, it was very, I think, strong in Japan. And Emi, like I can see that in your work, you often discuss these societal pressure and like gender issues, and like how in this work, you also mentioned this is also a critique to some of these problems. Like how are you addressing, how are you discussing these issues?
Yeah. So I try to create some of the mixed feeling. So TV War is obviously like representing my feeling, and also there has been lots of like magical effect, which is really shiny. Or I insist. I put the some of the shonen anime aesthetic too, like a robot or explosion effect, and like, and also the subtitle was AI generated subtitle, which is a mixture of the magical girl heroines word, and also like gender pressure, and I make it bit neutral, so that has a mixed feeling. Like if you read it, something sounds empowering, but at the same time, like you feel kind of a pressure. So I wanted to viewer to feel that feeling. But I think whatever, like if you think this aesthetic looks cute, you can also enjoy it.
But I think, I tend to see in your work, even in your work in AI as neurofad, it's really interesting how you would take from these past cultures and reconfigure them in a certain way to create a new alternative past truths. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can see how you're taking elements from our past experiences of watching these magical like heroine animes, but sort of taking these elements and reconfiguring them in a way to be a new something that empowers us. Like it has the same color themes, it has like the same touch, but it's giving out kind of a different message, like from what we watched in the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
Like that's kind of my personal take on.
Yes, I want to make a parallel world. And also I think I keep making something with like anime motif. Takashi Murakami elevate anime culture into pop art, which is fantastic. But however, like I feel today's anime inspired art has been like heavily towards to male perspective. So like even shows like I adore like Sailor Moon or Precure have a significant adult male fan base, and so I felt like we need more women's perspective for like this construction of anime culture.
Culture.
Yes. So something I wanted to explore.
Great. And one big question, how did you come up with the naming, the title, Melancholic Magical Maiden, which every time it's a great name, by the way, but like, how did you come up with this, Melancholic Magical Maiden?
It was naturally came up, and the first title used to be a Melancholic Magical Girl, but I changed into Maiden because that sounds like anime title, and at the same time, like I like the MMM. It's like a superhero initial, and I think melancholic is my favorite English word. I have a song called Melancholy in Salai Yang, and so yeah, it came naturally, and I think title comes first before I create the actual art. So I have a like strong concept in my mind before I choose the way of express. So it's always same. Like when I started Salai Yang, I wasn't trying to make a music, but I wanted to be in a person, shiny person in an 80s TV show. So this was also, my creative impulse was wanted to create like dark side of Magical Girl.
Yeah. Oh, so that's interesting. So Melancholic Magical Maiden kind of was there in your head, like
yes,
the title, the theme. And then the work evolved after that first concept. And MMM, is that the official way to like say it in a short way? Like Daijoubu, is that okay?
You can call it
MMM. I'll call it MMM or like, yeah. But like that's really interesting how like the title came and then you started evolving the piece. And I should have asked this question when you were talking about how you collaborated with the creative coder. But when you're making this piece, you said there were like 28 revisions. Like when's the moment when you decided, wow, this is done. Like this is the piece. This is Melancholic Magical Maiden, the one I was searching for.
This is so hard. There are so many things to change, and I honestly feel I can also make it better. So I can't. Yeah, it's really hard because it's endless process. But to be honest, I wanted to make it more randomness. But this time, I think I satisfy with the result. But maybe when I make a next gen art, that would looks completely different. Maybe, yeah, it's really hard. But I wanted to have more variation.
Right. Yeah, I bet since it's your first generative art piece too, like I bet it's very difficult to like decide this.
Yeah.
But and then like the next question is, in our discussion we mentioned several anime titles like Sailor Moon or Ojamajo Doremi or Wedding Peach. But I guess most of the audience watching this video didn't grow up in Japan in the 80s and 90s, right? So maybe it's good to introduce some of the audience unfamiliar with 90s animes. Like, so what are symbolic 90s animes that inspired you or a lot of people? And maybe they could have a quick look through at these anime just to have a better understanding of your work and your background. Like anything about 90s anime? Like,
but I think Sailor Moon aesthetic is really getting popular. Even like after 1990s, it's a there's like a remix culture of 90s anime aesthetic, and there has been also like a music genre called like Sailor Wave or something. So so I actually got lots of hint from Sailor Moon culture, and so like Slayers.
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 So much Slayers. Sailor Moon, Slayers,
Wedding Peach, Cutie Honey, and
Cutie Honey.
Cutie Honey. Yes, it's very
Wow.
controversial.
It is controversial, but it was very popular then. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember.
So
Yeah, and then like this Ghost in the Shell, Evangelion, some of the classics, right? Science fiction.
yeah, I actually reference the sky background
Yeah.
from Evangelion, and
Evangelion, yeah.
those
Yeah.
are my so like I love them. I loved all the classic anime, but if I'm looking back then, there's so many, controversial things are is
Gender
like
stereotypes and controversial like narratives. Yeah.
like for example, like all the robot anime, like girls are dressing up like really tight skirt and
almost naked. Like they still do
showing
that
their
in Japanese
boobs.
manga. Yeah.
Yeah,
In like
it's still
Shonen
do that.
Jump. Yeah, they still do that. The female character is somehow wearing a bikini fighting the enemies. I don't know why. Like it looks like the most vulnerable costume ever to fight enemies. They still do that.
It's dangerous. And
yeah,
but I feel like there has been, like a Barbie doll and like Disney princess has a same kind of
issues in 90s. Yeah.
So
interesting. Yeah.
So when I watched the Barbie movie, we talk about the Barbie movie a lot, and I got really inspired to see like a recreation of retro culture to thinking about futures and stuff. So
yeah, the Barbie movie was fantastic.
yeah,
we talked a lot about that movie. It's very interesting to see. Like it's obviously Barbie is a more American take on the pop culture, 80s, 90s retro pop culture and feminism, but it was really inspiring for us to talk about Barbie movie. So like the next question I have for you is, what are artists who have inspired your work? It could be any form of art. It could be musician or visual arts. If you could tell us a little bit about your influences, inspirations. Please don't. It's so embarrassing. Like this is. It makes me look like I'm forcing you to say this every. But thank you very much.
I got lots of inspired.
I'm inspired by you too.
Thank you. Thank you. I literally inspired by you to like creating like you do like music video, so my form is like being a musician and making installation and then singing and dancing around my installation work. So you're the role model, but I got really inspired by lots of historical artists. I'm very I always wanted to be a pop artist, so I got lots of inspired by like Andy Warhol or Takashi Murakami. He's doing different message conveying, but I think way he transformed anime into pop art is really
impressive. Yeah,
impressive, and I learned lots from him. And also my current self-portrait series of making with AI. I'm researching about Mariko Mori. She's very big inspirational from, and also while making generative works, I got lots of hint from Maya Man. I was so encouraged by her work when I saw her work in art blocks.
It's very conceptual piece as well.
It's very conceptual piece, and it's really different from the rest of any other work. So she makes me feel like maybe I can be a generative artist. So,
but I think it's important to bring different perspectives to generative art.
yes.
So yeah, it's great to see like a different style. Yeah, like you or Maya in the generative art community sphere. Yeah.
So I
Great.
inspire I inspired by lots of people.
Great. Thank you. And like this is going to be a kind of a sort of a as a wrap up question to talk about the future is so that you're going to release Melancholic Magical Maiden. I said it right. MMM like right now. And yeah, MMM. So this you're going to release MMM, and then what are your future sort of visions or aspirations? What are like it could be like new kind of medium you want to experiment, or maybe you want to do even more generative pieces. If you could tell us a little bit about what you're thinking about the future.
Thank you. In the future, I eager to dive into more physical artwork. Also, like I want to use. I think I want to use my earning from my digital works to create large installation, video game or sculpture, and more. So, like I aim to exhibit in like various places and in various medias. That's I want to make a big sculpture of Magical Girl Compact.
That'd be amazing. I want to see.
Yeah. Like silk screen of anime eyes, and yeah, that's something I'm interested in.
I'm super excited to see. Like by the way, everyone, like Emi, you've been my inspiration. Like so, you say it's been a joy to see like everything you've been working on. I didn't realize you were 18 when we first met. We were so young. Like it's crazy, but yeah, it's amazing and how you're developing, and it feels like I'm part of, like kind of watching you do all these amazing things is like it's a pleasure to be sharing the whole experience, and I'm really looking forward to more installation or sculpture, and also the release. Congrats on the release. So thank you so much, Emi, and thank you so much everyone for watching this interview. And hi Patrick.
Hello.
Hey.
This seems like a good stopping point, although I hate to end this conversation. But for those out there listening, follow us on Twitter to learn more about this project, and join us in the Discord where we chat about generative art 24 hours a day. There are links in the show notes to both. There are also links to other informational resources, some of the inspirations for this project. And of course, tune into artbox.io on Wednesday, February 28th for Melancholic Magical Maiden, or MMM, if we've decided. So, and a huge thank you to Emi Kusano and Sputniko. I appreciate both of you so much for joining us today and letting us all listen in on this conversation. That was really wonderful. So take care, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.